Hey everybody, Matt Zerbe here from Wasco Nursery, and I am here to talk to you about trunk protection on mostly shade trees, but any young, small diameter trees. So I'm standing here next to a pawpaw tree, and if you look closely here, you can see that we actually had some deer damage on this tree from a couple years ago. The tree is healing over. This tissue right here where it sort of looks like it's rolling inward, that's called callus tissue, and that's actually what's going to heal over this wound. So if you've ever had deer damage or some type of animal damage like this where the bark has peeled off, you're going to want to pick off and get rid of any loose bark that may be hanging over the edges. That way insects aren't getting in there making it worse. You want to expose that callus tissue and allow it to heal. To prevent this and or to protect it, we're going to use something like this right here, which is just a corrugated piece of plastic. It looks very similar to drain tile, but this is specifically made for trunk protection. We sell them at Wasco. They're very inexpensive, totally reusable. I've used this one for several seasons now. So it just has a slit, comes like that, and we're just going to put that right over the trunk here. Start down at the bottom. Just seems to be a little bit easier. And just kind of work your way up the trunk. Now the reason that we're doing that at this time of year is that this is the time of year when two things are happening. One, deer antlers have what's called velvet on them during the summer months. When the deer antlers are forming, they've got velvet all over the antler structure. As the antlers are hardening or calcifying, the blood flow is cut off from the velvet and it starts to literally peel off like dead skin. And the deer don't like it. So they try to get their antlers up into the trunk and bark of the tree to rub that off. So that's what they're going to start doing in late August and early to mid-September. Shortly thereafter, the mating season, or what's called the rut, is going to start. At that period, specifically larger male deer are going to be marking their territory. And so they're going to go in there and they're going to rub and scrape and do all sorts of stuff to say that they're the biggest deer in town. That's not great for the trees. So protect them now. I always recommend putting, especially if you have deer issues, put that on right around Labor Day, take it off usually around Easter time. If deer are not an issue for you and you want to protect for winter damage for sun scald, frost cracking, rabbit damage, things like that, I recommend putting it on around Halloween, taking it off around Easter. If you don't have deer damage, you don't have to use the plastic trunk protector. You can use an asphalt-based paper tree wrap, which just comes in a roll, very easy to apply. Start at the bottom, work your way up, and then put a little piece of tape around there. Make sure you take that off around Easter so that it doesn't constrict the growth of the trunk. The reason I like to use the white trunk protectors, A, I have deer here at home, but B, the white color versus traditional drain tile is black. Black absorbs heat, and so in the winter time that can cause excessive heat buildup around the trunk. I like white because it reflects that heat, and so I'm not going to have excessive heat buildup during the trunk, which again will help prevent those frost crack issues, which is really just the water underneath the bark thawing and freezing day and night, things like that, and it can cause the bark to burst. Frost crack, just like the deer damage that I showed you, looks almost identical and can be very harmful to the tree, so we want to try to prevent that as much as we can. So I hope that you found this helpful. Follow us or like us on YouTube to check out some more videos.